Hello everyone, welcome back to the Will the Reaper channel. In today's video, I'm going to be determining how many people it would realistically take to beat every single card in Clash Royale, ranging from 1 person, to 5 people, to 10 people, to 25 people, to 50 people, and lastly to 100 plus people, or basically an entire army to defeat the card. The rules are simple. Humans get nothing but the clothes on their backs. They have to rely on bare knuckle fighting. They have to rely on their strength, intelligence, speed, etc. To actually beat a card, there has to be at least 1 human remaining. So let's just say there's a rocket and like 1,000 people don't survive, but 1 survives, then they technically beat the card. And lastly, for things such as buildings, buildings have infinite life. Because then people would just avoid the building, which makes sense. So you have to physically run up and break the building to make things fair. So let's get right into it. I kind of rearranged the order from how I normally do it to make things interesting. The cannon. The cannon has a pretty good fire rate, and it could kill people immediately. So I think the best thing to do is to flank it. So I'd say you probably need 10 people to rush it. With the rate it has, it could probably take out about 10 people, but then the last 2 people could just jump onto it and then, start punching it or push it over, knock it over, something like that, just break it into oblivion. So it'd take about 10 people. And as long as they could point it to the ground, it can't do anything. Next up, Zap Spell. This would be like an electrocute. Now, it doesn't kill you, right? It just deals damage to you. So realistically, I could tank it. I could take 1 for the team, 1 person. Goblin Gang. 6 goblins. Goblins are weaker than like humans probably. Like I'd say humans are probably barbarian level. So they're weaker than barbarians, but they are equipped with shanks and spears. And those spear goblins, I feel like, could take out a good number of people. So I'd say realistically, to have at least 1 survivor, you're going to need about 25 people, right? If those spear goblins keep throwing spears at people, they could probably pierce through others and knock out like 15 people. But then after that, once those next 10 just jump them, it's over. Archers. Archers could be really deadly. If you think about it, you have to rush into them to knock them out. And if they're really good at archery, which they seem like they are, it's going to be a problem. So I'd say you're going to need 25 people as well. Magic Archer, since there's not 2 of them, it's just 1 guy. I think you could probably flank him. His rate of fire is pretty good, but if there's 10 people coming in 1 direction, it's like 1 magic archer in the middle and then 10 people surround him. It might be a bit difficult for him to get them all off at once before we eventually tackle him and finish him off. 10 people. Electro Dragon. So, okay, also to make this fair, the flying units, like, aren't, like, super up in the air. Like, they're realistically, like, you can jump up and pull them down. So you can grab them, because then realistically, there's no way to actually beat these cards. The Electro Dragon, okay, so it would really hurt. He can only target 3 people, though, and he could probably, like, whip his tail around or something like that and, like, bite people, which wouldn't be good at all. So I'd say probably take 25 people. It would probably take, like, at least 15 people to just grab onto him and, like, pull him down. But yeah, him electrocuting everybody would not be a good time. Goblin Drill. So not only do you have to deal with the goblins, you also have to destroy the drill too. I don't mean break it into oblivion. I just mean you have to like knock it over and make it so it breaks and it can't work anymore. So I'd say it would probably take about 25 people to get rid of a Goblin Drill. Skeleton King. If he uses his ability, it might be a problem. But skeletons aren't really that bad of a thing. You could realistically take on like 10 skeletons by yourself if you wanted to. But the Skeleton King, he has a huge mace. Might not be that good. I'd say it would probably take 5 people. If you flank him, you could do it. You could do it all right. Now Fire Spirit. The problem with Fire Spirit is I don't think I'd survive if it landed on me. So I'm going to say 5 people just for the sole fact that when it explodes, as long as 1 person's like out of its range or as long as 1 person can survive that attack, I think we'd all be fine. Mighty Miner. Okay, so if the Mighty Miner uses his ability, that's like 10 people gone. Like that's just a grenade that he throws on the ground. I'm going to say that he only uses his ability once though. So then you have to deal with the guy with the huge drill, but you can flank him. So the first 10 people don't survive off of that. But then once you flank him, it would probably only take about another 15 people. So I'm going to say it takes 25 people to beat that. 5 people for skeleton army. You know, you could probably beat like 5 of them on your own. No problem. But I feel like 13 of them, they might just clobber you after that. You know, if some of them get a few stabs in, you might be like on the ground and then they finish you off. So 5 people are needed. Balloon. Okay, realistically, to beat the balloon, you'd have to catch one of the bombs and throw it back, right? So it'd be like a game of hot potato. Now, I feel like a few guys would have to take a hit, right? And keep in mind, since it's a flying unit, it's not going to be super high in the air, right? Because you have to make it fair for the humans. So it'd be somewhat low to the ground, but there's definitely going to be some casualties. 10 people. The Witch. Okay, the Witch, it takes about 4 hits at a decent rate to unalive someone. So if people could just rush through the skeletons, they don't mind getting stabbed in the leg or whatever, it'd probably only take 5 people to actually kill the witch. Skeletons takes just 1 person. Okay, Lava Hound would spew lava everywhere. I mean, its name suggests that. And then when it explodes, it turns into just 7 beings of pure fire that people would have to touch, and it would hurt a lot. So I feel like the fact that I could just pour lava out everywhere, it would probably take an army of people to realistically survive the lava, because I could just see that hurting everyone immediately. Graveyard spell. Honestly, if you play this right, if you play your cards right, no pun intended, and you like can pinpoint where each skeleton is coming from, you could probably just stomp on it really hard or something like that. I'd say I could probably take this on. Yeah, maybe steal the knife of one of the skeletons and then start kicking them around. But, you know, if you can finish them off one by one, if you start playing whack-a-mole, start jumping on each skeleton for the other one spawns, I think I'd have a good chance with that. But, you know, unlike the skeleton army, I get some time before each one fully spawns. Royal Giant. Royal Giant, you'd have to flank. His rate of fire is pretty decent, but he's also a giant, so he'd probably like start swinging his cannon around or like start stomping on people, and it would not be a good time at all. Realistically, I'd say it's probably going to take at least 50 people. Because even if you manage to get onto him, he's probably just gonna fling you off anyway. You need like 5 people to go up to his face and start like poking his eyes and stuff like that. Rage spell won't kill you. Um, so it just takes 1 person to tank that. Now, P.E.K.K.A. You would have to literally break through steel. The only way this would work is if you got a hold of P.E.K.K.A.'s sword, which might be pretty difficult. So I'm going to say it's going to take an entire army of people to just get that sword, and then maybe another 20 people to actually use the sword properly and kill the P.E.K.K.A. But yeah, if she's super strong, which she seems like she is, she's probably like 1,500 pounds and just pure muscle. Not going to be fun. You're going to need an entire army to take that out. Now, Goblin Hut. Goblins aren't going to spawn unless you're near. And since it's only 1 goblin at a time until you break it, you could probably just rush it. If people flank it and then just sprint at it immediately, you could take it down. Probably no problem. Actually, I'm going to say 5 people, realistically. Goblin Barrel, when it breaks and they start spawning, it's just 3 goblins. We could just flank them. Just don't get hit by the barrel. Now, this building, Tombstone, I think maybe 5 people, because having 4 skeletons spawn at once after you already just fatigued yourself, right? You have to walk up to it, break the skeletons, keep walking to it. I might get fatigued. I don't know if I'd survive that. 5 people. Also, it spells. To make this fair as well. Sorry I didn't mention this earlier. You have to be in the radius, right? So, for example, rocket, because I could just say, oh, just stay out of the rocket's range, right? Just dodge it if you want to. No, to make it fair, I'm going to say that, like, the people have to be in the rocket's radius, right? Or there need to be, like, 70 people to fit in the radius, and then, like, an additional 10 to be outside the radius and just barely survive. You know what I mean? In fact, I'm actually going to put Rocket as probably needing, realistically, I think the radius is 10 in the game. So I'm going to say we need 25 people to survive that rocket blast. Yeah, if everyone stands in the radius, but there's like 15 people that aren't going to get shot, hit by the rocket, I'm sure one of them's bound to survive. So Goblin Barrel, we would get hit by the barrel, but I don't think any of us would die from that. We could probably just carry the barrel, shake out the goblins, and then finish them off. Snow Golem, I mean, you could realistically, I don't think it would even be that difficult. Ice can hurt a lot. It really can, but, honestly, we can rush it, but if we just breathe on it and it starts melting, it would probably die, so. Golden Knight, okay, so Golden Knight, if it does its dash attack, right, it would immediately kill, like, 7 people, right? And it's also a really buff knight with a sword that swings really fast. We're probably gonna need 25 people to deal with the Golden Knight. Electro Spirit doesn't kill you. Elixir Collector, it's only gonna take 1 person. Now, Mini P.E.K.K.A, a bit scrawnier, not enough range, not as tanky, but I feel like it could still do some damage. Because of how small it is, it's probably only like 100-pound, 100-pound robot, right? Not that big. I think you could take 5 people on, right? So, okay, Hog Rider. Hog Rider, let's see. You'd have to, realistically, I think it would take 10 people, right? If it charges into people and just starts swinging with them out, we're going to have a problem. But I think what would happen is we would need 2 people to just charge into him. If one person can tackle the Hog Rider and knock it off its hog, then it would just be one guy with a huge mallet and jacked muscles. And 10 people could definitely finish that thing off. So 3 people probably have to sacrifice themselves, but then the rest is history. Bomber. Okay, Bomber just is basically throwing grenades at everybody. It's not going to be a good time. He throws them really fast, too. You probably explode on impact. You're going to need 25 people to successfully flank this guy. Rascals. Now, okay, I didn't realize that Rascals shot bubblegum and that the sword was wooden. But the only reason why I said I didn't think I'd survive beating this thing one-on-one is because the guy in the back, I guess like the main Rascal, he's pretty jacked. I think he could beat me. But 5 people would just completely overpower them. You could toss the other 2 Rascals and then just like 5 people, rushing that dude. No way. Okay, so regular giant doesn't have the cannon, right? He's not like the guy. He's not the royal giant, right? So he'd probably be a little bit faster. But because he doesn't have the cannon, he can't do anything until he's in range. So I say it's probably going to take 25 people to defeat a giant. Goblins, there's 4 of them. 5v4. 5 barbarians versus 4 goblins. It's over. Royal hogs. Okay, I'm scared of pigs. I think it would take 5 people. If 2 people could double team 1 hog, right, while each other person's just fighting him one-on-one, right, you could probably kick it or whatever. But 1 person, you would get demolished. It would be a grim demise for you, yeah. Grisly demise, that's what I was looking for. Spear goblins, they throw those spears really fast. It's probably an insta-kill on impact. I'd say it's going to take 25 people before we could realistically rush them. Sparky, okay, Sparky, it's got that speed buff, and it does that area damage. It would fry someone instantly, but 10 people swarming it, flanking on all sides, it would have to keep charging up. But here's the thing, actually, right? Then what happens when you're actually on top of that Sparky? How do you break it? You also can't touch the end of it, or else you would die. So because of that, actually, now I'm thinking about it, it'd probably take 50 people to just figure out how to even break a Sparky. Maybe you have to cover it in dirt or grass or something, make sure that it's like it can't get electricity through, but it's going to be painful figuring that out. I don't think you need a whole army like Lava Hound or P.E.K.K.A, but definitely a lot. Barbarian Barrel, okay, so there's spikes at the end of that barrel, right? Since it's a spell, we'd have to tank it. There's probably going to be like 4 people that die from the impact of that alone. Then you have to deal with the Barbarian. So I'd say 10 people just for safety. Now Prince. Okay, Prince, same thing as Hog Rider. He has armor, which would be a problem, and he also has a spear. But if two people could just, tackle the Prince, I think we'd be fine. Or maybe kick the pony over. And then after that, it'd be 8 people rushing the Prince. There's nothing he's gonna do. Wizard's a problem because Wizard can throw his fireballs really fast. He also has area attack, right? So, unlike the bomber, right? At the last second, the bomber, you could just kick his bombs away, right? Or he'd hurt himself, right? But with the Wizard, I don't think he's affected too much by his own fire. I mean, I know fireball hurts him, but by his own fire, I don't know if it hurt him. Even still, he'd cook people pretty fast. He'd probably give them it'd probably take 3 shots to realistically, unalive a person. So I'd say it's probably gonna take 25 people. Because once we all swarm him, he could probably just do fireball 3 times and then knock out like 15 people right there on the spot. It wouldn't be fun. Well, hold on. If you flank him on all sides and it takes about 2 to 3 shots to immediately kill somebody. Yeah, no, now I'm thinking about it, you could just rush him, sprint right at him, and he's not going to be able to do anything in time. I wouldn't say 5 people though, just in case. Just for assurance. Knight, you're only going to need 5 people to take him down. Nothing about that. I mean, just rush him. Minions, each person, if 2 teams could take on 2 minions, and then it'd just be a 1v1 with one more minion. 5 people. I think it would take 2 people to destroy a minion easily. What is this? Okay, don't know what that was about. Arrows. Again, 1 person just has to survive out of this. So I think if 4 people laid on top of a person, right, and shielded him, I think that person would survive, the person on the ground. So yeah. Tesla. Okay, so Tesla would basically, I'd say in 2 shots, it would probably shock someone's heart, and then they go bye-bye. Breaking the Tesla would probably be even more difficult. It would probably take a few minutes to actually break the wood by kicking it. I'm going to say it's going to take 10 people to destroy it. Or actually, it looks like there's a wire, so maybe to cut the wire, they can just break it off that way. But 10 people just for assurance. Hunter, he has a shotgun, but he kind of has a slow rate, so he might snipe people, right? Because it's a shotgun, so maybe there's a stray bullet that hits somebody in the wrong area. But I mean, realistically, it has a pretty slow rate. If you could flank him on all sides, I think it would work. Yeah. Mortar. I think it would. I don't even think it would take. I think if I can fully sprint, right, really sprint. I'm talking about a Prince Dash kind of charge, or a Berserker kind of sprint. I think I'd be able to outrun the mortar and then just knock it out that way, realistically. Because once I'm in its range, right, once I'm in its blind spot, it's not going to be able to hurt me, and I could spend all day 24/7 breaking it. 5 barbarians with swords. So they are jacked. They are huge. These are 5 bodybuilders with swords. They might be stupid, so they might not be able to wield them properly. But it's going to be a problem. I'd say it's going to take 25 people to take them down. 5 people for 1 barbarian, I think, is a fair deal. Musketeer. Okay, Musketeer. I think she just one-shots people. She can shoot really fast. But again, if we're fully sprinting at her, I think it would just take 3 people. I think 3 people could get through. The other 7 people would have to go. Now Valkyrie. Okay, Valkyrie would swing in a circle, right, and probably take out a few people. But if other people could dodge, I think we'd be fine. Maybe 1 person would suffer. They'd have to sack themselves. But then after that, you could just tackle her legs, and then it's over. Electro Wizard. It would hurt. He'd probably destroy people in 3 hits. But he can only target 2 people at a time. So he better get moving fast. Fireball. So we'd have to be in its range. I think in the game, it can hit a maximum of 15 people, I want to say. 10 people. So It'd probably give everybody 5th-degree burns. It'd probably honestly just end everybody on the spot. But I think if people lay down on top of each other, the people underneath might survive that. So I'm going to say it's going to take 25 people to survive such a hit. Yeah. Goblin Curse doesn't kill you. Cannoneer. Okay, so we'd have to invade the tower and then break it. So I'd say that's gonna take 10 people, right? You could swarm it, and then eventually when you're inside the tower, take out the cannoneer and then use the cannon to like break parts of the tower or whatever. I'm just gonna talk about the tower troop actually. It would only take 10 people to realistically swarm the tower and take them out. Suspicious Bush, probably 5 people. I don't know, those 2 goblins with the hammers, they seem like they could do a lot of damage. I wouldn't be able to survive that, but with 4 other people, I would. Phoenix. Phoenix would be painful. He's like, throwing up fire on people. But it's not that dangerous. It's kind of a bird, he's just a bird. So you could probably just pull him down and then, stomp on the egg after that. 7 royal recruits, all with spears. They could do some kind of phalanx formation, right? But then yet again, that would leave their backside vulnerable. I'd say it would take 25 people to realistically come out alive with just one person if you flank them on all sides. Dagger Duchess. Okay, so Dagger Duchess, she goes on what, like an 8, dagger streak before exhausting herself. But I'd say she probably get 2 more daggers off. So that's 10 people gone. You're probably gonna need 25 people to actually deal with that. And then once you're in the tower, she's probably gonna throw a few more daggers. So you're gonna need 25 people to successfully rush that tower. Spirit Empress with the dragon. You're dealing with both the dragon and the Spirit Empress. Because she's riding the dragon, it's extra weight, and you're gonna need more people to actually pull down the dragon. I'd say you're probably gonna need 25 people because she's also, not only does she has a sword that she can use to like hit and kill people, but she's also probably gonna be swinging at others. So you can honestly probably just pull her off the dragon. You grab her leg, you fling her off, hit the kill the Spirit Empress and kill the dragon. Yeah, fine spell. It's gonna be painful, but it'd only take one person to survive that without dying. Skeleton Barrel. When it breaks, when it breaks, it spawns all those skeletons. I'd say it'd take 5 people. Because it's not a spell, we could be free from its radius when it deflates, and pops. But I think it would only take 5 people. Void spell, I can't survive that on my own. 5 people would have to tank it. 4 other people would have to tank it with me. Goblin Giant, it's like a giant, but not as big, right? But he has 2 spear goblins that are chucking spears at you. So while you're trying to deal with just rushing the giant, you're also going to be taking damage from the spear goblins. You're going to need 50 people to deal with that easily. Royal Ghost, it can only come in contact if it's hitting you. So one person probably has to take the hit, and then the other 4 people can just grab it and end it. Elixir Golem. Now, Elixir Golem would just drown you in elixir or hit you, right? It's basically like a liquid, or like some kind of like gelatinous monster. I think it'd probably take 10 people to deal with it. Maybe 25. Guards, guards are 5 people. I mean, they're just like skeletons, but a little bit better. Rune Giant, I mean, she's a giant, but not as big by any means. But she has that hammer, and that hammer could be a problem if she just swings in a circle. I'd say you need 10 people to deal with that. Wall breakers, I mean, they're going to explode, and they're going to hurt you. So 2 people would have to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, but then the other 3 people survive. Night Witch, yeah, no, probably 5 people, because by the time I'm done defeating the bats, she'd probably stab me with that spear, but if 2 people could take down the bats and then the other 3 people charge the Night Witch, you'd survive that. Bandit, I think I could solo. That initial dash is going to hurt with the rolling pin. If she hits me on the temple and knocks you unconscious, I'm done for, but I think as long as I block my heart in my head, I don't think she'd be able to strike an artery or something, and then she's done for. Berserker has the axes in her hand, so it'd probably be a bit more deadly, but I think you could just rush her, take the axe out of her hand, with 5 people. Ram Rider. Ram Rider, same thing as Hog Rider. Now, she only has a slingshot, which isn't as brutal. Actually, she's going in 5 people, because she only has a slingshot, which is not as brutal as a gigantic hammer that could probably hit you in the head and knock you out immediately. But that ram could still do a lot of damage, and who knows how good of a fighter she is. Zappies. Zappies are going to need 5 people, because if you do it one person by yourself, it's going to be a slow, painful death. But, they can only target one person, so by the time they're done dealing with a few people, a few other people, the others can go in. But here's the thing. How do you realistically break one of these zappies? I guess if you flip it over, right, and you stop it from gaining energy, right, and then it all just goes into the ground, that might work. I'm going to say you need 10 people for that, because breaking the machine itself would be a problem. Bomb tower, I mean, realistically, it'd be a problem, right, if you flank on all sides. But then, once you actually reach the tower, you could just grab one of its bombs and explode the entire thing. And you probably leave with 1 person alive, so 10 people. Boss Bandit, need 5 people. Yeah, she's a heavy hitter. Her ability probably immediately kills somebody, but then after that, I think 5 people could take on the Boss Bandit. Yeah. Fisherman, I could probably 1v1. He uses a fish. I'm using my bare knuckles. Let's see who wins this. Minion Horde. You're going to need 10 people. Again, 1 person per minion. Some of them even get double teamed. Easy decision. Battle Healer, you need 5 people. That sword is going to be deadly, but she can't take on 5 people at once. I like to see her try. Now, Royal Delivery, everyone has to be in range, right? So getting a gigantic, cart crushed on you is going to hurt, and then you have to deal with a knight, a guard after that, or recruit. But, if 10 people could stand up like this, right, and brace for impact, I think we could all take the force equally, right? Because if there's 10 people all standing in like a square, right, going like this, all the force will be distributed equally. Therefore, each person will be in pain, but not as much pain as if just 1 person was there. So yeah, 10 people. Royal Chef, I mean, doesn't he just like flick spatulas at you? I don't think that could hurt. Maybe if he hits you in the wrong spot or something, he gets like a nice shot, it could hurt you, but 5 people, just to be safe. You could break a mirror pretty easily. Okay, flaming arrows. You have to deal with a girl who shoots flaming arrows, but she shoots so slowly, right? If you flank her from 5 different sides, right, by the time she's done, shooting, there's going to be about 2-3 people charging straight at her, and there's nothing she's going to be able to do. Mother Witch, 5 people, because in a 1v1 she might get off all of her shots in time, and then I turn into a hog and it'd be very painful. Goblin Machine, I'm going to say is 10 people. That machine, it might be brutal, right, if it lands some punches, especially if it lands a rocket. That rocket's immediately going to kill somebody. But I think if like 5 people could be left standing, by the time we actually rush into it, you could just tackle it over, and then no more Goblin Machine. Barbarian Hut, you're going to need 10 people. I mean, you could ransack the first 3 guys, right? You could triple team each Barbarian, steal their swords, and then just go to town, destroying that hut. And be fine. Archer Queen. When Archer Queen uses her ability, that is probably, I think, like 8 plus darts immediately going into someone's skull. So 8 people are gonna have to tank it. 25 people, realistically. Because think about it. By the time we reach her, even if we fully flank her and go full speed, right? She goes 1, 2, 3, and then use her ability. She goes invisible. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then she goes back to visibility. 12, 13, 14. Before inevitably she comes to her demise. Cannon cart. Well, it's gonna move, it's gonna charge at you, but that just makes our job easier. Then you just knock over the cart, and then boom. Spirit Empress ground version. She just wields a sword. I think 5 people could take that on. Earthquake, depending on how bad that earthquake is, I might be able to survive. Yeah, because it deals damage, but it wouldn't kill you. Same thing with Snowball. The Diddy Cage. Diddy Cage, well, you'd have to break through steel while an angry goblin is trying to grab you and stab you. Maybe you could just, maybe if like 10 people just all start kicking in it and brutally hurt the goblin through kicking, right? You grab onto the bars and just kind of jump and kick, right? You could probably kill the goblin cage, right? The probably kill the goblin that way, and then the cage, you know, you could just spend like weeks trying to break yourself. Baby dragon hurls fireballs. It'd be painful. And plus, he looks like a bit of a chubster. He looks like he'd be pretty difficult to actually like punch to death. So it's gonna take 10 people to deal with that. Freeze spell. Now, freeze spell, I might get some severe frostbite. But it only lasts a few seconds, right? So after being in a freezing cold temperature for like 3 seconds, I think I'd be able to survive. Lightning. Lightning, I don't know. If it depending on where it strikes me, I might not survive that, right? So even though the lightning would transfer from person to person, right? I think 5 people could realistically tank 3 lightning strikes, and we'd all be fine in the end. But by myself getting struck by lightning 3 times, no, I would not survive that. Giant skeleton. Giant skeleton's like a worse version of giant because then his bomb's gonna explode, and we don't know if we'd be able to run away in time. So I'm gonna say it's gonna take 10 people to deal with that. Actually 25 people. Because uh unlike the regular giant, you'd have to break bones, right? Breaking through bone is going to be very difficult. And it's not like it's the skeletons where you could stomp on it and deal maximum damage. You'd have to actually tackle the giant first. Realistically, though, you would just need one person to get on top of that bomb and explode it and take one for the team. But to actually do that might be pretty difficult. Because, yeah, he packs quite a punch. Inferno Tower is only single target, thankfully. I don't even know how you'd break this thing. But I'd say it'd probably take 20 probably 25 people. By the time you actually figure out how to break the tower, it probably would have melted through people, right? If we're the equivalent like barbarians, while we're sprinting at it, it would probably just melt through people immediately, right? It would not be a fun time. It could definitely probably melt like 12 people before we actually do something about it. Skeleton dragons, okay, again, similar to the giant skeleton, right? It's not so easy as to just stomping or jumping on them to break bones. You'd have to actually pull them down and beat them up. And then they also spew fire. There's no detonation button. You're going to need 50 people to deal with them. Expo. Okay, Expo. Wow, people. Oh my god, it's just gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people are dying. With this rate of fire, I mean, man, it'd be brutal. This would be a brutal match. I'm gonna say you need 50 people. You're not gonna need a whole army for that because once you actually move up to the tower, you could just like disconnect it or something like that and break it. But man, it's gonna get to at least 30 people before you do anything about it. Golem. Now, Golem, I'm going to say you probably need an army. Hear me out, right? Unlike the Sparky or whatever, right? There's no, like, way you can successfully flank this thing, right? Because if he could just grab onto its back, right, and pull you off, which he seems like he can do, or even if he just rolls on the ground, he'd probably crush you. This guy is probably like 2,000 pounds. He's made of pure rock. It'd be very difficult to break pure rock, right? By the time he's done, like, just going like this, right, pshum, pshum, right, by punching people, and literally he could just jump on people and roll around, and yet you'd have to break all that rock or like break its eyes or something. I don't even know how you beat this thing. You're gonna need probably 100 plus people. There's probably gonna be like 300 people done for before the golem finally vanishes. Three Musketeers. Oh, Three Musketeers. You're probably going to need 50 people. Think about 50 people full on sprinting at them. There's not much they can do. But they're probably going to take out like 30 people. with how fast they go. And then also keep in mind, in addition to their musketeering, right, which would take out basically like 9 people every like 5 seconds, they're also skilled in melee, so they would probably kill a few people as well. Dark Prince, same thing as Prince. He does area damage, but same thing as Prince basically. Poison spell, I don't think would kill me. If I got medical treatment, maybe I just barely survive that. Maybe I'd barely survive. 5 people just in case. I'm sure one of them survives that poison. Ice Wizard, I mean, yeah, 5 people. I'd argue maybe even myself, but my arms would probably get frostbite and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Goblinstein and his monster. When they pop that electrical ability, it's not going to be fun. So I'd say it's probably going to take 25 people to deal with that. Furnace, you'd have to deal with not only exploding fire spirits, but you'd also have to break tin. You could probably pop off the head of it, which would probably take a bit of manpower. So I'd say it's going to take 25 people to finish it off. The miner, I mean, you could honestly solo it, but I don't know how skilled I am against the miner. So 5 people. Flying machine is probably a one-shot insta-kill. It shoots not super fast, but I'd say probably take 10 people, to just pull it down, break its propellers, and then the rest is history. Ice Spirit, I can tank. I'd probably be left with extreme severe frostbite, but it wouldn't be as bad as, getting 5th degree burns and having my entire body set ablaze. Monk, he's a martial artist. His ability wouldn't do much since we're all melee range, but 5 people. The log, okay, so we'd all have to tank a log barreling towards us at full speed with spikes at the end of it. You're probably going to have to take a few hits. I'd say maybe 10 people to survive this. I don't think the first 6 people that are facing the log in the line of duty would survive, but the last, 2-4 would definitely. Firecracker, our pure hatred for Firecracker would help out at how fast we'd be sprinting towards this thing. But let's see, it shoots off, it splits, it might kill a few other people. I'd say it might take 10 people if you fully flank it. Now Bowler. Bowler's kind of a giant, but not as big. And as long as you could just dodge the boulder, you'd be fine. Maybe 10 people. Lumberjack, just a raging alcoholic with an axe in its hand that can attack super fast. He's going to need some target practice, because if not, we're 5 people, we're taking him down. Now, Little Prince shoots super fast, and if he uses his ability, right, anybody that's on him would just immediately die. Their bodies would get severed, and then he'd have to deal with a huge person in a suit of armor. So yeah, that wouldn't really be fun at all. I'd say probably gonna need 25 people to deal with the Little Prince, right? If he does one shot, one kill like the Archer Queen, right? He takes after his mother, and he has really good target practice. And plus, if he's standing still, so he gets faster, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Super fast. Then eventually, when someone tackles him, he calls onto his guardian. You probably break the Little Prince, right? Someone probably takes care of the Little Prince in the meantime, takes his crossbow, shoots at him, but then you have to deal with the armored guardian, which would not be fun. Mega Minion, it's going to take 5 people. I mean, if he hits someone with his ball of Dark Elixir, it's going to hurt. Someone's probably going to get knocked out and die, but, 5v1, a huge minion. We can all just pull him down, and that's fine. Regular Princess, she takes a long time to charge her ability, flank her on all sides. Inferno Dragon takes a long time, flank him on all sides. Ooh, okay. When this guy dies, he explodes, and it would be a problem. The firecrackers themselves would probably break a few limbs, but I'd say it'd probably take 10 people, because its explosion alone would just be so devastating, right? It does so much damage. It's so big. Actually, 25 people, because I think that explosion would just kill all 10 people immediately. But there'll definitely be a few people that survive that. Okay, Electro Giant. Electro Giant, you're gonna need an army. You're gonna need so many people to rush into the Electro Giant. Keep in mind, we don't have swords or weapons. We have to beat him with our bare hands. In addition to Electro Giant stomping around and punching, right, and killing people in like 2 seconds with one stomp, anytime you try touching him, you get shocked, right, and you get paralyzed for a few seconds. And that catches you off guard, and that's all the time it takes for the Electro Giant to punch you to death. You're gonna need an army to stop that. Even if you flank it at all sides, right, and you all get shocked, just go like this and it's over. That would not be fun at all. Oh my god. Probably be really painful too. By the time you're done dealing with him, you're electrified. Elite barbarians, you could probably 2v2 each barbarian and then have one person triple help and triple team it. So you have a triple team and a double team with a barbarian who just has better experience with a sword, and has the armor, but he's still kind of clumsy. So I think we could take him on. Tornado spell. A tornado actually just hit my backyard today. It was not fun, but it was kind of like a Clash Royale tornado because it didn't levitate things and throw it in the air, right? Even though the pig in this art design is thrown up in the air, in the game actually all it does is just pull you, right? It just pulls you in one direction. It doesn't toss you in the air. It doesn't break anything. It might break a few bones. If it pulls you in the wrong way, I guess, but it doesn't throw you in the air, so I don't think I would have a problem with that. But yeah. Clone spell. I'd have a clone of myself. That'd be so cool. Dark Goblin, realistically, if he gets me in the eye, we're gonna have a problem. So I'd say it would take 5 people charging at him full speed to take care of him. Battering ram. Let's see. So you'd have to deal with not only the battering ram itself, which I think would only just get to one person if it made contact with. You have to deal with 2 barbarians. I'd say just to be safe, you're gonna need 5 people for that. Executioner, he throws his axe right, you go down immediately. See your fellow comrade go down immediately. But once you actually get to him, you take that axe away from him, and soon you become the executioner. Flank him on all sides, boys. 3 people, right? He gets 2 to 3 people. The other people tackle him. Finish the job. Bats. Bats, you might be able to go like this, punch, right, this, punch, or more like this, stomp on it. I might be able to, but if they're really aggressive, right, and they're biting me, they'd probably give me rabies, actually, and I wouldn't survive, if I'm being realistic. Right? This game is supposed to take place, right, in a kingdom, right? Probably when kingdoms were first built, I don't know. So I'm going to say Black Plague. They're carrying around the Black Plague, they're carrying around rabies, whatever. I don't survive the diseases they give me when they bite me. I'm going to need a few more people to help me. Mega Knight. Okay, so Mega Knight, when it jumps, right, it could probably just keep jumping as many times as it wants, and it would hurt many people. It would slaughter many people. But eventually, right, all you need is just like 5 people to tackle him to the ground, take off his helmet, and then the rest is history. 25 people. Yeah, I'd say realistically, right? If he goes like this, right, with his mace for hands, it might kill a few people, but he's not going to be able to take down 25. Heal Spirit would heal me. Okay, now we're going to go into Evos, because Evos change everything, right? I can no longer kill skeletons by myself, because one of them is bound to hit me, which would spawn another, and then spawn another, then spawn another. I'm going to need 5 people to help me with that. Firecracker's not going to change, right, because the thing is still the same. Barbarians is going to change, because the second they hit you, they get enraged, right, which would be a problem. So Barbarians, I'm going to say it would take 25 people. Where did I initially rank barbarians? Give me 1 second. I think I ranked them as 10 people. No, I ranked them as 25. Okay, yeah. I'd say it would still be the same thing then. 5v1 a barbarian, even if it gets enraged. Royal Giant, you're gonna need an army for that, man. I mean, you physically, this Royal Giant might actually be the biggest problem in the entire game. Because if you try to hurt him, he's just going to stomp on the ground, push you away, and basically break your legs. And then if he keeps stomping on the ground, it's not going to end well. You're going to need so many people to just get in contact with him. It's going to be abysmal. Mortar, same thing, except the problem is not the same thing. The problem with the mortar is that once it breaks, I'd have to deal with a goblin, right, and another goblin, right. So probably have to deal anywhere between 2 to 4 goblins by the time I actually reach the mortar, and I'm not surviving that. But if there's 4 other people with me, we could just 1v1 it. The knight is basically the same thing. 5 people could take it out because its ability, its health goes away once it stops moving. Royal recruits, it's going to be the same thing as before, 25 people, because it's not going to, it charges once its shield stops and it's not in contact with anything. But I'm telling you, once again, contact with it, we're not stopping. So it's not going to get a chance to charge. That might be more of a problem because they're just juiced up. But again, if one person goes after one bat, I think we'd be fine. Okay. Evo Archers. Evo Archers give me the same thing. I mean, they deal a bit more damage, but assuming they're already like deep range Deadeyes, NBA 2K mentioned deep range Deadeye. Where'd I put Archers? Sorry guys. I promise you I'm not stalling to get more length. I actually need to start cutting how long my videos are, but there's just so much content. Okay, so yeah, 25 people realistically. Nothing's gonna change for Evo Archers. Evo Ice Spear, I'm gonna need 5 people because I might get Frostbite, but if it gives me Frostbite again, like I don't think I'd be surviving that. Okay, Evo Valkyrie. If it brings everybody in and causes them to take axes to the stomach, that's going to be a world of hurt. It's going to take 10 people. So that's going to get promoted, I think, from 5 people to 10 people. Bomber is going to get the same thing, 25 people. Because it's just a bomber. It's like knockback, right? It's like pierce through. It's not going to change much. But still, having to actually tackle it without it exploding bombs is going to be a problem. Maybe I did that wrong, because if you think about it, right, if the bomber hits himself with his own bomb, he just explodes, right? Yeah, I'm demoting them down to 10, actually. If they hit themselves with their own bomb, they're cooked. Oh my god, Evo wall breakers. Honestly, same thing. If if 4 people sack themselves each, right? So 2 people dive, break the barrel, it explodes. 2 people dive at the Evo wall breakers, it explodes. 1 person's left remaining. Evo Tesla is a bit of a problem. Where did I initially rank it? It's not gonna matter. Evo Tesla is gonna get probably 25 people, because by the time you actually disconnect it or start like kicking it and breaking it, it's going to keep doing its ability, and it's going to eventually electrocute a good amount of people. Evo Zap, I don't think I could survive that twice, so yeah. Evo Battering Ram, nothing changes. Well, the barbs are elite, which might be a problem. So yeah, I'm gonna put 10 people. Okay, Evo Wizard is a problem because once you actually tackle him and you punch him, that fire shield, when it explodes, will probably hurt you. But I still think it would only take 10 people, realistically. Okay, Evo Goblin Barrel, you have to deal with dummies. You have to take 2 barrel hits, which would hurt a lot. I'd say it would take 10 people, so that's going to get promoted. But then once the goblins and the dummies are out, we're fine. Okay, so the Evo Goblin Giant starts spawning goblins once it gets below half HP. So once you're beating it, it's just gonna start spawning Spear Goblin after Spear Goblin, which would probably one-shot people. So by the time you're done punching it, it's gonna have like 20 goblins spawned. I'd argue you'd probably need an army for that, if I'm being realistic. Um, yeah, not a lot of fun. Well, actually, hold on a minute, hold on. If it spawns a goblin and you take the spear from that goblin and start using it, yeah, 50 people. I forgot what the Evo does again for the Evo drill. I don't think it does anything much. Yeah, I'll just say 10 people, just in case. Evo Diddy Cage. Okay, so now you can't just grab the handlebars and kick it. It will pull someone in and just completely mutilate them. But I don't know. You might be able to do something in time. You might be able to land enough kicks on it. I'm gonna say 10 people still. Evo P.E.K.K.A. Evo P.E.K.K.A. just becomes stronger after each kill. So yeah, it's gonna take an army. Uh, Evo Mega Knight is the same thing as Mega Knight because it might knock people away, but once you can just tackle him, you'll be fine. As even though it might take a ton of people to tackle him, remove his helmet or something. Again, those maces are strong, and he could probably attack with them somewhat quickly, but it probably takes a lot of energy. You could probably dodge them somewhat easily. Okay, now Electro Dragon. Here's the problem with Electro Dragon, right? Here is truly the problem. If there are multiple people in a single, like in an inch away from each other, he's just gonna keep electrocuting you. So I'd say realistically, right? Maybe no. I don't know. I'd say maybe 50 people. If 3 people go in at a time and try to grab him, it might work. It might work. But the only problem is that if 50 people end up being smushed together, we are all done for. So those 3 people have to walk up together, and try to do something. Evil Musketeer, a bit deadlier than a regular Musketeer because she immediately gets 3 insta kills. So she's gonna get a few more kill shots than the regular Musketeer. So you're gonna need 25. The regular cannon, the Evo cannon sends a blast. Would probably wipe out a good amount of people. But if we space ourselves out early, if we space ourselves out in a way that makes it so we don't get hit, we'd be fine. But you never know in this day and age. But 25 just to be careful. Snowball. I mean, I get hit with a snowball, I roll around, and then I spawn out. Nothing bad. Evo Dark Goblin. He would apply poison and essentially weaken people. But again, one person could suffer from the poison, the rest of us would be fine. Lumberjack, we can just run away from the immortal ghost. Simple as that. Now, Hunter's going to shoot and trap people, but he's still pretty slow. So if he ends up trapping multiple people, it would be a problem. Which, if he does, 10 people are required. Executioner, it's going to be the same thing. Nothing's going to change. Because once you tackle him, we'll be fine. Yes, he might knock you back, but realistically, if you take an axe to the head or throat, you're just gone anyway. So I'm gonna say he's at 10 people to deal with. Evo Witch, 5 people. Yeah, same thing. I mean, she heals if the skeletons die, but once I take a hold of her staff, she's done for. Evo Baby Dragon, Evo Inferno Dragon. Sorry. Same thing, takes a long time for him to do anything. You could just tackle him by then. Make sure that his mouth doesn't point anywhere near you. Evo Skeleton Barrel. Ooh, okay, that's a problem. I'm going to say you need 10 people. Evo Furnace spawns more fire spirits, which is deadlier. So yeah, but I don't think it would require 25 more people at all. Evo Baby Dragon. He slows you down, which would be a problem. His wind would probably slow you down and then also push you to the ground, which would be really difficult. But once you do get a hold of him, the rest is history. Skeleton Army, you have to target the general first, which would be a problem. So, still, I'd say 5 people. Still, I would say 5 people. Now, Evo Royal Ghost, when the second he hits you, it summons down 2 guards, which are both insta kill somebody, right? So you're gonna need 10 people to deal with that. Evo Piggies, you have to grab the pigs. But again, one person can take down 1 pig, and it would be cool. Hero Knight gives himself a shield when he uses his ability. Nothing much changes. Yeah. Mini P.E.K.K.A, nothing much changes. Wherever I put regular P.E.K.K.A, I think at 5, nothing's gonna change. I mean, he becomes stronger, but it's not gonna do anything if you just flank him. Again, steal his sword. Tackle him, right? Stay out of range because he's a short dude, and then just steal his sword. Now, here's a problem, actually. If the musketeer places down that turret, it shoots really fast. That turret is probably a one-shot, one-kill. So you're dealing with someone, a mad woman, right? Just pew, 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 pew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. While the musketeer's also 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time you're done, many people are going. Many people. 50 people. Yeah. And then Giant. So his ability only targets 1 person, which would probably send them flying. But again, I don't think anything would change. And yeah, that's it. That's it. The others are not included. Sorry if I kind of went rambling on. I kind of do this in the spur of the moment. I have some stuff prepped in my head, but most of it is impromptu, right? Most of it I make up as I go along to make it more authentic, more realistic, and of course, more relatable. So I apologize about the rambling. But if you guys have any comments, concerns, agreements, or disagreements, what you like or didn't like about the video, please let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it would truly help me out a lot. I would love to grow this channel. I'm actually seeing a lot of growth with these Clash Royale videos, so it warms my heart to know that people are truly taking a liking to this. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video and have an absolutely wonderful night. See ya.